Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Omar from the Bullish Bears team. Wanted to make another video building my watch list tomorrow. Talk about a couple of plays from today. Um, Currently, it's about 7 p.m. and let's build this watch list. These were the stocks that I had on watch for today. And if you belong to the group on Facebook, I clearly stated that I said I was looking for Cara, AMD, and this stock NKTR to have nice pullbacks. And the reason being is, and we'll start looking at NKTR, this stock here, which right here it finished 1.27% lower than it opened. And right now I'm looking at, let me just move this out the way, keep this nice and easy. And let's look at why this was on my watch list initially. The reason why initially this was on my watch list was because yesterday this thing had a monumental move where it went from 16 to about 22 23 bucks, right? So in one day. All right, so that's a huge move. Okay, and I look for stocks that hold their highs. All right, so what I said was, and if you watched yesterday's video, I called it out in yesterday's video. I said, listen, when a stock gaps up this much, you can expect people to take profit and then have a big pullback. All right, and so what happened today? The market opened. This is the 1 minute time frame, and this is the 5 minute time frame. I use both. Okay. When the one is like choppy, I look at the 5 to get a cleaner entry. And so this is what happens. I'm going to show you both, the 1 and the 5, and why the 5 would have been a better watch. But so the stock, the market opens, and it opens at 21.95, right? And it's kind of consolidating sideways. It actually goes in the next minute, goes from 21.95 to 22.38 to a low of 21.60. So it's kind of just trying to figure out what it's going to do. Now, there was a lot of buying pressure. There was some selling pressure, but look at the volume. It's kind of low here. All right. So, that's kind of telling you, hey, this thing might have a chance to move up. And if you see the MACD, look what's happening here. Well, the RSI was below, so that means it was oversold. So that's a sign that it's going to start gapping. And then you see the green go over the red candle. That's a sign that it's going to start moving on the upward trend. You're going to see the TTM squeeze. That's when you know a pop is about to occur. And, I wasn't watching it, but my assumption would have been that on level 2, there would have been more buyers than sellers, all right, that were driving the price up. And then you look at the time and sales tape, and you probably see a bunch of green prints here, and that's telling you that people are buying the stock, and it's going to drive the price of the stock up. Now, what you could do is, if you're not sure, you can use VWAP as your entry if you want to go that way, or, and it's kind of starting to gap up and it's going above the 9 EMA, but I'll show you a cleaner entry, right? Because this is kind of choppy, even though it's on the 1, and, I might have not felt good about this until I broke high a day, maybe here, if I'm watching on the 1, because it's kind of choppy and it's not clear, but on the 5, it was very clear, right? I talk about these patterns all day long. So look at on the 5-minute chart, look what happens. On the 5-minute chart, right, you see the green going over the red, okay? You see the TTM squeeze starting to pop, but look what happens. We get the bull flag. So the stock gaps up in these 10 minutes from, it opens at, again, 21.95, and then it's 22.79 in the next, by 10 minutes later. And look what it does. It consolidates. It's above the 13 in VWAP. And what did I always say? When you get a bull flag, you're going to get usually 2 rips, and then you're going to get the sell-off. And that's exactly what happened here on the 5-minute chart. It was very clean. So you get the rip up, you get the pullback to the EMAs and VWAP, then you're going to get that second push, and you get that pullback right here, and then you're going to get the last push, and it pushed all the way up to 22.37, and then look, it just completely collapsed to 22.50, and then it completely collapsed. Now, on the 1-minute time frame, what you notice right away, and you notice it on the 5-minute too, is the head and shoulders pattern forming. That's how you know it's going to sell off. And you see, right, here's the shoulder, here's the head, here's the shoulder, and here's the sell-off. All right, and you could have shorted this back down, and look, so it found its height, and then it completely gapped, and that's what I said, it sold off. And I said it yesterday in the video. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it moves up at the open a little bit more, and then it completely collapses. Now, had you missed this whole move and you're not comfortable, you could have said, hey, you know what, if it breaks below VWAP, I'm going to short it. So you could have waited till it broke below VWAP and got in here, 22.73, and rolled this down all the way to 21.65. Now, this is, I understand, is a pricier stock, so, it's not going to work for everyone. But Even if you don't trade this, trade it in the virtual account. Remember, you can open up a virtual trading account with Thinkorswim. It's free. You call them. You say you belong to the Bullish Bears team. They'll give you real time market data, and then you can trade for free. You don't have to join these freaking chat rooms where they're charging you, $300 a month for some bullshit. All you gotta do is look and learn and recognize the patterns. So if the indicators, I like the indicators. To me they're helpful. But you could clearly, if you want to just learn on focusing patterns, and you're not trading with any money, you're just studying the market. Go to studies and just and then remove the study. Once you remove the study, then all you do is just clearly look at the stock with no indicators, and you just focus on the patterns. You focus on the patterns, and that way you get a clear sense. And then if you're looking at it this way, you could just once this opens, you put that trend line here. If you want to do that way, there's some people that just do this. They just put trend lines, and if you notice, as long as it's right in the trend, you're good. And look, it goes up. It bounces off the trend line, it keeps going up, and then once it breaks below the trend line, it's going to sell off. And look at this thing completely collapsed, just like I expected it to do, and you could have made some good money, or you could have bought a put today if you're an option trader, So there was an opportunity today to make some money, okay, and I was completely correct. I was also correct with the other two stocks I called out. I'll put back the indicators, load indicators, or more day trading indicators. Yep, here we go. All right. So I also, here we go. All right, let me do this again. So I get that chart up nice. All right, here we go. That's the one thing. When you move the study, you gotta play around with it again to kind of like get it to your liking. So I gotta like mess with it a bit more. All right, so. All right, here we go. All right, so now there was two other stocks that I called out. If you don't belong to the Facebook group, join the group. Just search for Bullish Bears on Facebook, and we'll add you to the group. The other two I called out were Cara. I said Cara was going to have a major pullback today, and look what happened. Why? Why did I say that? Because the stock gapped from $15 all the way to $16, all right? And after I was so it gapped up a lot. If you look at it over the last 5 days, this is a 5-day, 5-minute chart. This was 14.55 5 days ago, and it was up to $16. So my expectation was that people were going to take profit, and it has a habit of doing this. And look what happened. The market opens. Look what happens. It forms this. It has this little sideways action, right? And you get this little push up. So you got this push up to 1693. And there's the shoulder, here's the shoulder, here's the head, here's the shoulder, and then the collapse. And that's the head and shoulders pattern. Look, this thing just completely collapsed. Now, if you wanted to, use the VWAP strategy that I talk about, once it broke below VWAP, you could have just shorted it and just wrote it down. And look, it formed these flags, all right? So here you go, bear flag, bear flag, bear flag, bear flag. It bounced up, but look, it never broke above the 90 MA. And it just kept riding down all day long. And if you notice, once the MACD rolled over, so when the green went over the red, you see that's basically, that's a bearish sign. And if you see the TTM squeeze, it's just rolling over. And this red is like the huge selling pressure. And look at all the volume, all right? The volume is super important. Look at all the volume. Look at all the selling pressure. There's not a lot of buying going on, but a tremendous amount of selling. So you know that the price of the stock is going to continue to go down. Oops. And it just faded all day long. Look at this, complete collapse. All right. Now, just know, guys, but there's always opportunity too. If you're watching a stock like this, and you're like, all right, I'm not a short seller, so I don't got the shares. I don't care for shorting right now. But I'm gonna look to see where this thing finds its support level. And once it found its support level here, let's say you're watching this and you see it consolidate sideways here. You could just put a little trend line here, right? And you're saying, okay, well, this is the low. I'm going to see what it's going to do. If it doesn't break below this and it starts getting some buying pressure, I'm going to buy the dip. So what happens is when a stock sells off a tremendous amount, it usually has like a bounce. And it consolidated sideways in about 11:42 a.m. And look at this. It sort of, the MACD started and it had this bounce opportunity where it went from like 15, so right here about here is at 1538, and it bounced all the way to about 1580. And look what happened. VWAP plays resistance, and it bounced off VWAP, and you know what you could have did here? You could have shorted it. Once it bounced off VWAP, you could have took this back down for a short. That's why VWAP is such a great indicator, because look at it, it did it again the second time. You could have, at around 305, it bounced off VWAP and you could have shorted it again. That's what day traders do. That's what the big retail traders do, the really successful ones. You know, they scout, you know, and these opportunities. And VWAP is such an amazing indicator because it gives you a nice leeway to entry point, you know. So tomorrow, maybe this gets back some more. Maybe it dips, goes back up. We'll see what happens in the morning. Next up, AMD was the other stock that I talked about. Look at this. This is another stock that collapsed. Why did I say it was going to collapse? Also, because this thing went from, you know, pre-market, it was like at 13, it was at what, 1350, and this thing went all the way to 1461. So it held its high. So that's why I got on my watch list, and my expectation was because it gapped up so much, people were going to take profit. And look what happened. The market opened, and, you know, you're kind of not sure what it's going to do. You can look at both the 1 minute and the 5 minute, and, you know, you're watching it closely. You're trying to see what it's going to do. And what you could have done is once it broke below VWAP, you say, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. If it goes above VWAP, maybe 5 or 10 cents, I'll stop out. I'll sell my position. But, you know, what happened? It broke below VWAP, and it never broke above it again. You see, it tested it. That would have been like a sure confirmation of me to short it. And look at this thing. This thing completely collapsed. All right, went down all the way down to 1380, and at 1380, look, it started going sideways because it found its support level, and then look, you could have bought that dip using the support level as your stop. And look at this thing all the way gapped up, backed up to 1412, and then look, VWAP, it slightly for a second goes above VWAP, but then it shorts before because VWAP now plays support, resistance at that point. So, you know, you could have shorted it again right here and just went down. So make sure you use VWAP make sure you have VWAP in your indicators, because it's a great indicator. All right. So those were the 3 big moves that I called out. And there was a couple of stocks that gapped up. JUNG, which was on my watch list, it gapped up, and a couple of other trades. And, you know, and I always talk about this with JNUG and NUGT, usually between 10 and 11. It usually has a big move one way or the other. Let's see if it did today. I didn't really get to see. So at 10, it was here. It was already above VWAP. But look what happened at about 10:30. Look what happens. It breaks below VWAP, and you could have took that short there at around 745. And then look, this thing consolidated sideways. It gapped up for a second. It broke above VWAP for a second, but then look, it completely collapsed down all the way to 720. So you could have made 30 cents shorting this. All right, and I tell you, every day, for whatever reason, between 10 and 11, NUGT probably did the same thing between 10 and 11. Let's see, zoom in a little bit. So at 10 o'clock, let's see what happened here. Let me zoom out just for a little bit. So at 10 o'clock, this was 10 about right here, and it's just riding sideways. They ain't really doing anything. And then for a second at about, actually, the NUGT didn't do anything for that hour, but at about 11:30, it broke below VWAP, and you could have took this for a nice short to like 20. You could have made, like, VWAP was what, 954. You could have, you know, got in, let's say 950, and took this all the way down to about almost 930. You could have made about 25 cents short in this. And then once it broke above VWAP, look at this. You could have rolled this all the way up. Once it broke above VWAP at 953 and rolled this all the way to about almost. Look at this. It stopped. It reversed at 990. Why? Because 990 is close to $10, which is psychological resistance. Whole numbers of psychological resistance point. And, you know, you could have took this up. So with that said, let's talk about, and the reason why I'm spending time talking about this, guys, is I'm just trying to teach you guys entries, all right, how to look for stocks. Now let's talk about today. Let's build our watch list for tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to create watch list. I'm going to type 3/22/17. Okay, I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go to scan. And just to remind everybody, look for stocks between $20 and 20 cents and $30 that are up, that have 500,000 shares traded. The no max. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pull up my scan. I go to personal. I go to nightly big movers. So I look for stocks between 20 cents and $30 that are up 500,000 shares or greater, that are up 5% and no max. I click scan, and we got 27 plays. You see how the market every day you get, you know, like we've been spoiled. Like there's, like yesterday I think I had 83 plays. Today I have 27, and a big reason why is because the market in general, if we go to Yahoo Finance, the market in general sold off today. It was a big pullback. The Dow was down 237 points. The S&P was down. The NASDAQ was down. All right, all these were down. Okay, the banks got crushed, it said. So there was a big sell-off. Now, No, this is what happens. People see this and they say, "Oh my God, the market's gonna completely pull back." I've seen this several times over the last 6 months, and the market keeps climbing. So you know what? Nobody really knows what's gonna happen. But to be honest with you, the market is due for a pullback, and I think all this Trump news with all the stuff that's going on, and the Feds basically said they're investigating him and his whole administration. So that's going to cause the markets to be a little worried because now people don't know if Trump is going to get impeached or what's going to happen in the future. So that also can play a role in the pullback too. But with that said, all right, these are stocks, okay? So, and I got this same scan here on the side. So I'm just gonna click on charts, and we got the 1 minute in time, 5 minute. Remember, I got the link here, the red link. So I just click, make sure I just have the colors all linked together. So then I can look through the plays, and the top play, at least in terms of percentage change, was VICA. So I'll click VICA, and VICA had no volume, and it went from 15 cents to 33 cents. This is a clear pump. I mean, you could have made some money trading this, but there was no volatility. I mean, it's probably maybe 10 people probably traded this, so it's bullshit. We're gonna move on from it. Next up, PTIE. PTIE was up 43 cents. I mean, this thing at pre-market was 68 cents, and it ripped all the way to 133. Wow, that's an incredible move. You see when the market gapped up, and look what happened. So the market opens, right? And you get this buying pressure. You see the MACD, the green go over the red, and you get the squeeze, so you're going to get a little pop. But if you're looking at this on the 1 and 5 minute time frame, if you're looking at this on the 5 minute, there's no entry for you. You don't have an entry. You don't know. You don't want to chase. So what you do, guys, is if you're looking at this, you put a trend line because you wanna see the stock go with the trend. Now me, I don't know if I'm trading this. I'm waiting for a pullback. That's what I usually teach people. I'm waiting for a pullback and then an entry. But when a stock rips up like this really fast and it's already up, so much because it ripped so much pre-market. Oops, sorry guys. Because it ripped so much pre-market. So let me go. Let me just put the 5-day 5 minutes. So because it ripped so much from 68 cents, it was already up. And it hit a high of 128 pre-market. I'm wary of chasing a stock like this. Now, you could if you want to, risk, but just know that if you're gonna risk and you're gonna chase, which I don't recommend, just watch for that trend reversal. So you have the trend line, and once the stock breaks that trend, you better sell. What you should do is I teach this in one of my other in the custom Thinkorswim scan setup that I have. I teach everybody to have these buttons here because you should have a stop loss. But if you don't have a stop loss, which I always recommend have a stop loss, but let's assume you don't, you want to have these buttons where you put the sell the bid, because if you clicking pressing sell the bid is almost like putting a stop loss, because sell the bid is whatever the bid is for the stock, it's gonna sell. So you're gonna get executed a lot quicker when you sell your shares at the bid. All right. So Thinkorswim has this really cool sell the bid function that you can add. All right, but you should have a stop loss. All right, just so you know. Okay. With that said, now what I would have done, and this is what I would do. Now, if you're a short seller like I'm primarily am, I'm just letting this run, and I'm like, go up, baby, because as soon as that reversal would have happened, I would have just put my order to short it, and I would have shorted this bad boy all the way back down, and I would have expected this to pull back because it was up so much from pre-market. That's why I love shorting. You don't have the stress of buying and waiting for when that reversal is gonna happen. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna ride the trend, and as soon as that reversal happens, I'm gonna just short it. But the problem is that when a stock is this priced, it's a dog shit company. To find the locates for shares to borrow is difficult with a brokerage like TD Ameritrade or E-Trade. You need, a brokerage like Interactive Brokers or Speed Trader or Centerpoint. So that's where you could find shares a lot easier to short the reversal. All right, but this is not going to go on my watch list because this had its move. All right, even though it's way over, it's still overextended, and I expect it to give back more tomorrow. This is the general range it trades in. So I mean, if you find shares to short, you might be able to short this one again tomorrow. The play of the day was Plum though. Plum ripped. All right, and it ripped on news. There was some news about it. what was it? It was this morning. Yeah, Plum receives European patent. When you ever hear anything about receives or patent, that's when you know you're gonna get some sort of. More than likely, you're gonna get a move. And look what happened here. We'll look at it on the both on the 1 and the 5. All right. So on the 1, if I'm watching this, let's say I'm watching this start to move, right? And I'm not sure where to get in, right? For one, I'm putting my trend line. As soon as I see this moving, I'm putting my trend line. What I would do if I was watching this and I'm watching this move, okay, I'm looking for that pullback. So you see how it gapped up and it had that bull flag and then it pulls back? Right here, when it pulls back, this is where I'm going to enter the stock because you're going to get that second push. And look what happened. You get that second move up and it's still following the trend, and then it kind of breaks the trend, and then it finds its kind of support. So look, it breaks the trend and it pulls back. Not a big pullback, a small pullback, but it finds its pullback. I mean, it finds its support right here at VWAP. What I would do at this point is, if this is high day and you see that it's not breaking down, I would put a channel here. So what I would do is I would put a trend line at the high day, just have it go across here, and I say, okay, found its support here. So I'm going to put another trend line here, and I'm going to watch it, trade in this channel. And what I would do at this point, if I'm watching this, to look for another entry, is say, okay, this is, at this point, this is its new support level. Its low is 342, all right? And now it's kind of gapping above it. You see, it's kind of like ready to go above VWAP. And if, let me zoom in a little more, if you're looking at it, right, it kind of bounces, it forms this higher low. So I'm like, wait a minute, it's good, it's forming higher lows. So see, higher low, right? So I'm like, oh man, you know what, this may get some push. And look what happens, it gets that second push. And what I'm doing at this point is like, you know what, I'm going to use 341 as my stop loss. That's where I would get out if it goes against me. And I'm going to give this a shot. And once it broke above VWAP, I would have went right in. I would have got right into this trade. And look what happened. The MACD rolled. And look, and you know what happened was people saw the higher lows, and people saw that it broke above VWAP and the EMAs, and they said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna take a chance. And they just rolled this up. All right, it rolled up. And then what you do at this point is, once you see it start moving up, and again, you're gonna put that trend line to make sure you're making sure to see it, watch its trend, and it goes up and it breaks the trend, and it kind of has this one last push. So you see it forms this bull flag. That's the flag. You're gonna get that second push. You got the second push. It consolidated, had that last little leg push up, and then it completely collapsed. Just like I teach, the patterns are the same again and again and again. And you see it touches VWAP again, close to VWAP. So it kind of consolidated here again. You could have took another chance. I would have said, hey, wait a minute, it's not breaking below VWAP. It kind of touched this. So I'm watching to see, here it is. It's kind of forming a higher low. And look, it got another push up. So, it just really depends. These are the things that you gotta look for to find your entries. All right. And look what happened. This thing consolidated and then ripped again to 411, and it gapped down, and now it's back up after hours. This is gonna be on the watch for tomorrow for sure. All right, it's up close to its highs a day. And Plum is a stock. If you look at the yearly, this is that stock that went bananas like early in the year when it went to like 30. No, this was it the one that went to 30 bucks? No. Oh, I thought Plum was the one that went to 30 bucks. But this stock, I know because I traded it before. When it has news, it moves. And look, the last time it had news, it had 2 green days where it went up all the way up to 698. So this stock, potentially tomorrow could move again. I mean, maybe not. We'll see. It had 3 green days. So, the general rule of thumb is usually after 3 green days, expect a nice pullback. But we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But it's definitely, I think it's going to be volatile. So watch it at the open tomorrow. Maybe it completely sells off right away. Or, maybe it gets another little push before the sell-off. But, you'll definitely have an opportunity to short it tomorrow. But, I think it's going to be volatile. So next up is IHRT. No volume and crap. VSR, look at this. It went from 103 to 178. And then it kind of like, the market opened and it kind of like, sold off, found its support at 141. And you could have dip bought it. And, it kind of rolled right below VWAP. And it broke above VWAP at around, what time was this? 3:30. And then it kind of rolled up to 163. And it's kind of up after hours. I mean, this stock was 102. 5 days ago. It's at 160. So this is gonna be a really good short if you can find shares to short. Over the last year, let's see what the stock has done. This stock was at 325 at its height, and when it collapsed, it was probably like some shitty news. Yeah, this is dog shit. I'm not gonna put on my watch list, but it's probably gonna be a good short tomorrow if you can find shares. All right. Next, BLTO, nope. RBCN, nope. K's, nope. MCIW, nah. This stock, nope. SG, no. HOS. This is a stock, yeah, that I would. This was on my watch list today. This was one of the. Actually, this was on my watch list from yesterday. Yeah, I mean, for today. And look at this thing. This thing ripped. Look what happened at the market open, just like I teach you guys. Look what happened. You got the push up. You got the bull flag. As soon as you see that flag forming, this is where you get in. Boom, and you could have rolled this up from 385 to 435 before I had the sell off. And look, remember, make sure you have that trend line. So you're watching it. Once it breaks the trend, you could have shorted this back down. So you could have made money taking this up, and you could have made a killing shorting this back down. But look what it did. It actually broke above VWAP at around, what time was this? At around 11:54. You could have rolled this up all day. It wasn't, yeah, it was liquid. So you know what? Still going up. So let's put it on our watch list to see what happens again tomorrow. Okay. Next up, XGTI. XGTI was a stock that, let's see, 2 day, 1 minute. Oh, this thing was at 173, came out 142, and now it's bouncing up, but, it's choppy. I mean, I wouldn't trade this on a 1 minute because you wouldn't know what the hell it's going to do. It's very, very choppy. If I was to trade this, which I wouldn't, I'm not going to put it on my watch list, even though it's up after hours, this is a stock that I would have to look at a bigger time frame. Even the 5 minutes still choppy, so when you have a stock that if you're interested and you want to get a better sense of the direction, look at the 15-minute or the 30-minute so you can kind of see how the longer the time frame, the more of a sense of direction you get from the stock. Now, I'm not putting this on my watch list, but I'm just trying to give you guys tips and tools to, trade. No, VNC, nope. UQM, nope. Choppy, crappy. WLB, yes, this will be on my watch list. This thing went from, and you know what? Has no volume, but because the market is, doesn't give us a lot of place, this thing did rip all day, and it is up. I mean, if you look at it over the last 2 days, well, let me look at the 5-minute chart. This was at $11 5 days ago. It's at $14. Put it on your watch list because maybe this is something you may want to swing. All right, let's go. But normally I wouldn't because I like stocks that are liquid, but this may be a potential swing you may want to look at. Next up, TDEW. Nope. OSUR. This thing ripped, man. This thing went from 1089 to 1208 right when the market opened. Pretty impressive move. It hit 1208 and it just sort of consolidated. Then it broke above. It was 1075 2 days ago. I mean, it sold 2 million shares. It was pretty choppy. It doesn't look like a stock like this is probably that wasn't traded a lot. Let's see, OSUR. I'm just curious. I'm just gonna put it OSUR just to see. OSUR, how many trades it had? Oh, it was traded a lot actually. 19,000 people traded this stock today. All right, so maybe I'm wrong, but it still seems choppy. I'm gonna put it on the watch list though, because this may be a good short tomorrow. Especially if the market continues to pull back like it's doing, you may want to look at it, see what it's going to do tomorrow. IPI, it's choppy, but this was 121s at 169. This is like one of those slow grinders that you may want to trade, for like a swing. I wouldn't look at this as a day trade. It's too choppy. I mean, I can't get a real sense of what it's going to do, but you may want to swing it. All right, FCEL, oh no, ADP. ADP was at 160 when the market opened, hit a high of 183, and now it's consolidated. Very choppy as well. You could take this. I'm not gonna put this on my watch list, but something that you may want to look at maybe as a potential swing. GRMX, nope. SPYR, nope. PLSE, wow, this thing ripped. Look at this thing, no volume though, so I'm not gonna trade it. But look at this thing went from 23 to 26. Really quickly. HTBX, nope. SCON, nope. V-Ray, nah, it's kind of choppy. Another choppy stock. You don't really know what it's going to do. I mean, over the last 5 days, or 5 days ago, the stock was 531. So you may want to look at it because you may want to potentially swing it, you know. And then, if you're going to get a sense of what it's done, you should always look at the yearly chart, and see what it's at. The yearly, it looked, the MACD is curling up, the TTM squeeze is here, but it is a little hot, so you should expect a little bit of pullback. It's above. I mean, the previous yearly high was 643. It's at 730. It's considered. You should also check to see where the moving averages are. So what you do is you just type VRAY, VRAY. I'm in stockcharts.com, and it's above. And then by default, the default indicators are the simple 50-day and 200-day moving average. It's above both. I mean, it's a little overextended, but who knows? Maybe it continues up. I don't know. The MACD is curling up. It's all signs that it's going to continue to move, even though it's a little hot. I don't know. Maybe you may want to see. I'll put it on there just for you guys to just keep a side eye on it, because there's not a lot of plays, and it doesn't hurt. SGBL is, let's see what it did today. So yeah, this is the kind of stock I like to trade. It's liquid. It held its highs. It went from 8 to 9, and it kind of sold off a little bit, consolidated. So yes, this is absolutely going to be on the watch list. And I'm also going to put on my watch list, as you know, I like to put NUGT, JNUG, DUST. Alright, so does this thing take away some stocks? I thought I had more than this. No. Okay. Alright, yep, yeah, so we're good. So these are the stocks that I watch. Not a lot of plays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, those are the plays that are stocks that I'm looking at for tomorrow to hold, because those are the ones I expect to be volatile. But remember, you want to see what's on the news in the morning, if there's any earnings. Another thing you can always check to see is if you go to Market Watch, tomorrow is Wednesday. So these are all the stocks. If you want to see, like, what it will do is it'll show you all the earnings. And if you want to see tomorrow, what is it? Earnings. So these are the stocks tomorrow that are all have earnings. All right. So and then if you want to link. Oh no. Yeah, if you want, you can always link your charts to kind of see. It'll pull up, and then you can see your stocks if any of them have earnings scheduled. Otherwise, you take unlink, and again, you just go back to the day. So tomorrow, this thing is acting up. So you go to tomorrow, the 22nd. Wait a minute. What did I do? Earnings. I don't know what I do. Quotes, visual, finance, calendar. I don't know what I just did. It froze on me. I don't know what I did. But you guys saw it. I'm not going crazy. But it'll list all the earnings. So sometimes it's good to know who has earnings scheduled for the day, because based on that you can kind of get a sense of what plays are going to take place. I don't know why. Let me come out of there. Let me come back in. I don't know what I did there. Or I don't know what I did. But it showed it there. Now it's not there. Anyway, that's not here or there. But you can play around with it. I'll figure out what I did. I did something. I must have did something. And you can see all the earnings for tomorrow. And so based on that, you can kind of get your game plan ready. Because if you have a stock that's expected to have earnings, you keep an eye out on it. And then you could, if you get if a stock gets a good earnings report, you can then you can make a trade based on the earnings, positive or negative. All right. So this is my watch list. I'll see you in the chat room, guys. Have a good one.